Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and this is my preview of The Division 2. It's a preview because I got to play the private beta that happened a couple days ago. And no, it's not because I'm super special or anything, it's probably because I played the original Division's alpha. And its beta. So first things first, anything I have to say about this could change at any point in time because, well, it's a beta, this is an older build of the game, so glitches and things like that I will bring up may not be a real thing. So the story goes, you are a Division agent in Washington, D.C., specifically this time, instead of New York, and you're basically trying to help rebuild society after a massive viral attack just caused obscene amounts of death throughout the entire country. As the game starts out, power's gone, water's gone, phones are gone, so people are trying to grow their own stuff. They're trying to survive at this point, and of course there are people who basically become jackasses like the hyenas in this game. That's one of the groups. Very large, powerful group of marauders, scavengers, raiders. And in the beta, basically you are helping a small settlement as well as helping reestablish the White House as essentially the center of civilization. And that's about it as far as the story goes. So far, anyways. As for the audio, I enjoyed the music. I gotta say, what little voice acting there was, some of it was really bad. Okay, maybe not the worst that I've heard, but it definitely wasn't good. As for the sound effects, I make that noise because there were a lot of times where the sound just would go out almost entirely. And not all the sound, but specifically my character's sound. I wouldn't hear gunshots, I wouldn't hear his footsteps. It got horrible. Then there was another time where all the enemies that were in my vicinity wouldn't make any noise, so I couldn't necessarily hear them shooting at me or anything that they were doing, whether they were calling out grenades or not, which is really important because audio in this game actually gives you cues to what the opponent is about to do at times, which can mean life or death in this game. So that is some shit that has hopefully been really sorted out since this beta version was a build. Like, that needs to not be in the final build. So as for the gameplay, this is a third-person shooter RPG, specifically a multiplayer one. Although I did roll solo, I didn't have any friends in the beta, so. One of the most important things about this game that people need to be aware, and I had to tell all of my friends when the first one came out repeatedly, this is an RPG. So yes, shooting in the head is not a guaranteed kill because it's all stats based. This is not a realistic shooter, it's not Rainbow Six in an open world environment, it is an RPG. Think about it, swinging a sword at a dude's head and not killing him is pretty common in an RPG. So that's true of this. Shooting a dude in the head is not necessarily guaranteed to kill him. It's likely to be a critical hit. So it's got its normal stuff, which is basically just player versus enemies, which is most of the city, but the Dark Zone has returned, which for those who don't know what the Dark Zone is, it's player versus player and player versus enemy, so you have to watch out at all times. Once again, the Dark Zone is very much the end game area, which comes a lot sooner given that this is a beta, and I think they probably toned down the difficulty for the beta. One thing I gotta say negative about the beta was there was no character creator. That was really disappointing to me. You can randomize your character till you get something you kinda like, but you can't customize, and that disappointed me. Maybe you could near the end of the beta, but I already had my character, so I didn't try again. One of the other things I found kind of annoying in the gameplay that I didn't really run into in the original game was when you would modify your weapon, every mod in the Division 2 beta had a plus and a negative, which I don't remember happening in the original Division. Also, the first day that it launched, it crashed constantly. The servers kicked me out every 40 minutes. It was really annoying. They sorted that out later, but that's never a good start. As for the controls, I actually liked the controls. I think they worked very well. I didn't have any major problems with the shooting or the moving in this game. There were a few times where I got myself into a kind of weird position and got a little stuck, but I was able to wiggle my way out of it, essentially. But it didn't happen too frequently, so overall I don't have any major complaints with the controls. As for the visuals, it's not a bad looking game. It didn't blow me away though, and I had more than my fair share of visual glitches. I at one point stumbled upon a civilian just sitting there, not quite T-pose, but similar. He was just frozen doing nothing, and it was kind of weird and really out of place. I had another time where I climbed up a ladder and I could see straight through a building. So it definitely had some visual glitches. I will say the world they've built is really cool looking. This is clearly a year or two, or maybe more, I don't really know, after the initial event, and like animals have begun moving into the urban areas. Not even urban, but like city. Like there were deer, raccoons, other wild animals, so that was pretty cool. Overall, I can't really give this a score because it's a beta, but I did enjoy it once it started working, although I will admit the glitches were atrocious, and if those transfer over into the real game, I will be severely disappointed. But overall, I am optimistic for this. I enjoyed the original Division, I just hope they give you more to do with the end game. They also definitely need to roll out a lot more content than they did with the original. And by that I mean they need to roll out a lot of content and consistently. What Rockstar does would work great with the Division. Like every month add something new, every like 3 months or so add a bigger update, you know? That would work very well with this game. Okay, so in the comments below, why don't you tell me if you got to play the Division 2 beta? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share, subscribe. Have a good one.